Okay, I just finished reconciling everything for this week's paycheck, and I think we're ready to do the budget. Hello, my name's Jen. I'm a 36-year-old mama of two. I live in southwestern Ontario with my husband and obviously our two kids. And we are currently working on getting out of a credit card float. We do pay our bill off every single month, but can only do so at the very last moment. And then this is what happens when we do it. I've actually overpaid. So our bill last month was about $5,150, something like that. And we only had 4,400 approximately available to actually make the payment in YNAB. We had the cash in our bank account, but in YNAB we had only allotted 4,400. So let's start. We'll look at our overspending. I've already kind of explained that one. The first three, if you've been around here, you know these are automatically withdrawn from our checking account every single week. And so when we come in here to budget Friday mornings, they're in the red. And so that is normal. That's to be expected. We'll take care of that in our weekly priorities. And then the car maintenance, we're going to deal with this a few weeks back. Again, if you've been here, you know this. A couple weeks back, we need to get our brakes done, and went from thinking it was going to be told it was a $60 appointment to budgeting for $300 and then finding out that it was $1,153.38. So that was a bit of a roller coaster, but it's fine. And then this last overspending, my daughter went to a birthday party last weekend and she has another one tomorrow. And also I had to buy school pictures. I had forgotten a couple people, so I had to go print off a couple more, and so that's what that $44.95 is. So 2 presents and some school pictures. So let's go into weekly priorities, and we will get started here with our $300 for our tax-free savings accounts. Again, that money is building up our long-term emergency fund, where we have about 6 months of bare base expenses saved, and then it also builds up our first line of defense. So that car repair, for example, if we weren't able to cash flow the car repair, it would come out of the first line of defense. And the difference between those two is that the long-term funds are in a slightly more invested type of account. I can get access to them within 1 to 3 days, depending on like what time I request them, what day of the week I request them, all kinds of that, those pieces of the puzzle. And then the other ones, the front line, I can get them instantly. Again, it depends on the time of day. If it's before 5 p.m., I'll have them by the end of the business day. If it's after 5 p.m., then it'll be next business day. We also have access to sufficient credit. We have the credit card that we do all of our expenses on, but my husband and I each have another credit card that we can access. Plus, we both have personal lines of credit, and we have a HELOC, so a home equity line of credit. So there's really no situation where we wouldn't be able to flow whatever the emergency was on credit while we were waiting for the cash to get there. So we don't feel like we need it to be any more liquid than it is. We feel really comfortable with it invested in the way that it's invested. We have other investments that are more locked away, that it would take a bit more significant, like we'd have to go in person to the bank, and our emergency funds, I can go online and make the request. I don't have to talk to anyone. I can also make a phone call, but it just does take like that 1 to 3 days for it to be processed. So, but we're okay with that. We like that situation. We also are very, very fortunate that we have very stable jobs. So not saying that something couldn't happen, but we are comfortable. We feel comfortable. We can sleep at night. That's what really matters, right? The RSP, this is our retirement savings. A portion of it goes to my husband's retirement savings, and then a portion of it is to my pension buyback. I have a very, very, very great pension. And so we're not focused on putting any money into my retirement savings because my pension is taking care of that. Whereas my husband, he has a pretty good one, but it isn't as good. So we do feel the need to supplement it. Our main goal, though, is maxing out these tax-free savings accounts. Mortgage is $720 each week. Just roll in that one and continue on. Mazda has already been paid for this month. Like, it's already funded for this month. The last payment will come out on Wednesday. Utilities are already funded for this month. Yay. Gas is already funded for this month. We will finish funding $248.61 groceries, and life is already funded but we pulled money out for some stuff. And I think next week I was doing a little bit of like forecasting. I think I should be able to repay the 20, at least $25 to life. But for now, we just have this, and we had to buy some toilet paper. I mean, I don't think we had to, but we did. We probably could have waited a little bit longer, but it's fine. We had the money in our life fund, and so we did it. So that's all weekly priorities. And then I love these focused views. So these are my weekly priorities of things that have to get funded every month or every week. And then I have bills just separated by when they're due. So this comes out on the 1st. These are the bills that come out between the 8th and the 14th, 15th to 21st, and then 21st to 31st. So I really like that. And then that way, as the month is going, if I can't fully fund the bills at the very beginning of the month, which is my favorite thing to do, is just pre-fund all of the bills. But if I can't do that, then it's nice to have them separated in order and I can prioritize them that way. Weekly sinking funds. We're not going to touch those this week. Normally, I would put some money towards them, but again, not this week. And then here are end of month sinking funds. So let's go look at all. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pull the money out of here because there's an $800 refund tax credit thing that's coming from the Ontario government. And it's supposed to be coming late January, early February. Apparently, some of the checks have already been mailed. And so, but they're all coming by mail, which, yay. Canada Post is, I think, kind of mostly back on track. But I did just get a Christmas card a couple of days ago. So I don't know. Anyway, when we get that $800, I was going to put it to paying this and just use that, but I will use the $800 towards these two sinking funds to replenish them instead. So we have what? $1,051.95, which brings us down to only owing another $101.43. And now our Visa is in the green. Well, not the green, but like we have payment like available. So we have no longer overspent in that category. I forgot I was going to do this. So I'm going to put the $50 there and then take $50 away from this. There we go. So we actually have $151.43 that we still have to cover. I feel very confident that I will be able to do that with the next paycheck. It is the bigger paycheck month, or week, sorry. And then what I'll do after, so next week, my plan will be to go through, take care of all of the weekly priorities, make sure that all of those are funded. There's going to be some overspent here, so we'll make sure that all the overspending is covered. I know that because here we have $40.31. I haven't driven the SUV in over a week, so I don't know how much gas is in there, but we typically have to fill up every single week. We get somewhere between 5 to 8 days worth of driving currently from the SUV. And that's a $75, $80 tank. And then the Corolla, I just filled up yesterday. And so I feel pretty confident. The Corolla, we get anywhere from 7 to 10 days of driving. So I just filled it up yesterday. We might be able to get into February before we have to fill it up again. We might not. I'm not really sure. We'll see how it goes. It also really depends on how cold it is. It is cold enough here that like our doors freeze, and when we're driving the kids around, we want to heat the car up just a little bit. So there's some idling that happens, especially in the SUV, which is part of the reason why it does run more gas. That happens at this time of year. We try to minimize it, obviously, just for cost purposes and the impact on the environment. But just being realistic, we're definitely going to have at least $75 more gas, and then potentially another $50 to $60 for the Corolla. So this could be overspent by $30 or it could be overspent by $100. We will see. We'll see. Food, we have $340. My husband will go shopping on Monday and then again on Thursday, but $340 should be sufficient. He usually does a shop that's about $200 and then one that's about $150. So we're right like in that zone of maybe $10, $20 of overspending, but also maybe no overspending. And then life, we only have $10.28. So basically, if we want to buy anything, it'll be overspent. We have the $50 available for eating out. My brother's in town this weekend. We don't have any intention of eating out, but when people come to visit, there's always more possibility. And then my mom's in town next week. And so, again, we don't have any intention of eating out when she's here, but when there's people who are visiting, eating out just becomes even more possible. So, we'll see what happens. I'm going to keep the $50 there. If we have to cover some overspending, we obviously will. And then I don't foresee anything coming out of any of these categories. Home insurance, like our house insurance is due in April, property tax is due in March. Goodness gracious, please no more car bills this month. Gifts and giving. We do have a birthday the first weekend in February, so I might go and grab a gift for that. We'll see. It depends if it's on the Saturday or the Sunday and how motivated I'm feeling later this week. Home maintenance and furniture, I have no intention of spending anything here. Kids activities, no intention of spending anything here. In February, we do have 2 charges. There's a dance charge that's going to come out. There's some fees that I had forgotten about that will get charged for her class and for recitals. So there's that. And then also soccer. They play soccer in the summer and they have early bird pricing until the end of February. So in February, we're going to be paying for those 2 things. Subscriptions, there's nothing. My Audible will be charged to me in February, so we do have that one. Adventures, we have nothing. This is a place where it's really easy for me to pull money from because we don't have anything planned. Normally over March break, we go somewhere to see my husband's favorite hockey team play a game, but this year it's unreasonable. They aren't playing anywhere close. They have no home games, and all of the away games are a good flight, like not even a really short flight. So based on his work schedule and our school schedule, like the kids' school schedule, it's not possible for us to get away to a game, which is really unfortunate because it's one of the things that we've loved doing the past few years. And but since that's not happening, we have nothing, no adventures planned. So that's okay. Yard maintenance, same thing. This is really easy for me to pull from. And it's like, set future gen up. But like, I don't want to, like right now, like I would rather do something else with this money. But I know that in a couple months when the snow starts to melt and I'm gardening and I'm figuring out what we're doing, like we just moved to this place in August. The front garden needs a big overhaul and then the back doesn't have any gardens in it. I really want to put in a pollinator garden and some vegetable gardens, and it may involve removing some trees. I also want to plant a row of cedar hedges along the back so that we can have some privacy. They have to be at least 8-foot tall fences, so that's great. But just the way that the house behind us and our house sit, we do see into their kitchen and they see into ours. And so I want to put up just cedar hedges so that we can get some privacy going. So like I know, and then again, in October, we pay in full for the year of lawn maintenance. So like, I know I don't want to skimp on this, that this money is going to be really needed in a couple months, but with this freezing cold outside, I'm like, yard maintenance? There's no yard maintenance. I'm just shoveling. I mean, I guess I could buy a new shovel. The shovel we have is terrible. And that could come from yard maintenance, but it's not going to happen. I'm going to wait until end of February, beginning of March when shovels go on sale, and then I'm going to buy one. And then 2026, 2027 weddings. I'm so excited for our friends who've been getting engaged, and we have 3 weddings in the next few years. Nobody's set dates yet. These engagements are all real fresh. So nobody's actually set dates, but I know at least one of them is going to be a destination. And I know that at least one of them, my husband, is probably going to be one of the groomsmen. And if he isn't a groomsman, he'll still be invited to like all the events and stuff like that. So that one will have some costs associated to it. And we love to be really generous with wedding gifts and stuff like that. So because our friends, these people who are now getting married, they were so generous and so kind with our wedding. So we obviously want to repay that. So even though these weddings are 18 to 36 plus months away, I'm just like wanting to save up for them now so that we can. And then credit card. What's our float looking like right now? I like to go to the next month and look at the float. $3,500. Woof! Woof! Let's just say that this wasn't here because I will pay this off 51.43, and then I'll just pull it from groceries 51.43. I'll just pull it from there so that it's not. I don't like it when, even when I'm just like doing a scenario like this, I don't like when there's red money. Here, okay, 33.54.64, which is actually exactly where we started. Oh, I forgot to talk about that too. Okay, here I decided to start tracking the paychecks that we've got. And this week we got a bit of a surprise, and the paycheck was 1815.56. We were expecting it to be in this range. That is and has been the paycheck. We're both on salary, so that has been the paycheck for the last 24 months. No, I don't know. It's been the paycheck for a good long time. And so I was expecting that. And then when I got this one, I was like, wait, what happened? So I think it's one of two things. Either there was an extra shift worked over the Christmas holidays, which I'm pretty sure my husband did. I'm pretty sure he worked an extra shift on one of his stat holiday days. So that may be the stat holiday. It also may be a pay increase. He did just recently go through the annual reviews, and then there's pay increases, but that is significantly more than he's ever been given a pay raise for. So I think it might be a combination of those two things. A smaller part of it is the pay increase, and then the larger part of the difference, but it was still a nice surprise. The larger part, was him working an extra shift, but it's still a nice surprise to open the bank account this morning and see an extra like $150, $200. It's like, oh, okay, I'm not going to complain about that. So those are the paychecks. These are the owner draws, CBB. And then I was looking at this morning, and on December 31st, technically, though I don't reconcile this until much later in the month, like into January 10th-ish or whatever, we had a whopping 39 cents of interest applied to our accounts, which would have just got like swept into the budget. So as of the 18th, this is the total we made. I will go back and I'll add those two extra things in so that it's an accurate reflection of how much we budgeted this month. But yeah, I don't know if that helps to kind of like see what we're working with. And then I already have it set up for February. We have 4 paychecks. I'm just going to do one owner's draw next month, and it will be smaller because I reduced my pension buyback, which I have my owner's draw kind of like helping with that. So because I reduced that, and there was another thing that I can't remember right now. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I've like slightly reduced how much I'm going to be pulling out of in American, which will reduce how much obviously is going into our account. And then let's just do this while I'm thinking about it. January 31st, there will be some sort of interest that gets deposited into our account as well. So, and then that way, I think that it just like, I saw somebody else do it and I was like, oh, that makes it really easy for me to understand like what you're working with. And then last thing before I say goodbye is age of money. I'm really excited and hopeful. Like I have my fingers crossed right now as I'm talking, because if we go back to September, it was 2 days. And then October, 2 days, November 6, December 6. I'm really hoping that we're getting into double digits. Oh, right. That's right. I took 151. 151.43. I mean, it doesn't really matter where it is, but I kind of like it here better. I'm really hoping that this age of money will be double digits before the end of January so that we can be rocking and rolling in the double digits. I know that actually doing these sinking funds will be helpful, like really, really helpful, and just having a bit of a better grip on the money and paying more attention and being more mindful of it is helping. So, but yeah, I'm very hopeful that this will be into double digits. If not January, then definitely February. So thank you so much for being along on the ride, being part of this journey, and listening to my ramble. I hope that whether it's how I have my focus views set up or how we run our budget or anything literally that you find helpful and validating in your budgeting journey, that you can take it and go. And if you just enjoy this content and you're like, I'm here for all the budgeting, then welcome. Thank you again, and I will see you next week.